Disney Pixar's Soul. It's about a musician who has lost his passion for music and is transported out of his body and must find his way back with the help of an infant soul learning about herself. That musician is named Joe Gardner, and that infant soul is known simply as 22. These two find themselves in quite an adventure once they find themselves heading back to Earth. Joe's body is actually in a coma, but 22 ends up falling into his body, and Joe ends up finding himself falling into the cat. So, throughout the entire film, they are trying to pretty much meet his deadline. That is to be able to perform with Dorothea, who is a big time local jazz great. And this is his big break. And, he gets his big break with her before he finds himself in the afterworld. Falls into a manhole. I mean, he was really like so nonchalant. He wasn't really paying attention. He was his head was in the clouds, thinking about wow the big break he's having and what great luck getting to work with the great Dorothea. And he ends up falling into a manhole, and then we find him and see him in spirit form going up to this place called the Great Beyond. But he's not willing to to die. He's not willing to go just yet. He just had his big break. I can't go now, he says, and then he ends up escaping, but he ends up in the Great Before, where souls, they counsel and mentor these little unborn spirits who are very, very, a little bit rambunctious. They be jumping all over you and smacking you, slapping you, and all that stuff. Just crazy little guys, they're so anxious, so much. I guess because they have so much energy, and they're so anxious to get to Earth and be able to. I guess they go into babies, I guess, and they grow, you know. But what I love is I love the relationship and the comedic type of situations that 22 and Joe find themselves in. Joe is played by and voiced by Jamie Foxx, and Tina Fey voices 22, and other great voice talent here. This is really is great voice acting, really great voiceover talents in this. We have Felicia Rashad as his mother, and Angela Bassett as Dorothea Williams, the jazz musician. And I totally right away knew that was her voice. I was wondering, I thought it was the mom, and I go, no, it doesn't sound like that. Then I go, oh, that must be Felicia Rashad. And they really, really do provide just a great presence. It's great to see them and hear them in this because they're very respected actresses. Felicia Rashad from Cosby Show. Angela Bassett from many great films, including her Oscar-nominated blowout performance, her breakthrough performance as Tina Turner, and What's Love Got to Do with It. Other great supporting characters, and I really, really just enjoyed this. I'm not a big jazz fan, but that doesn't mean that I don't respect the music. I just don't listen to it. But when I listen to it, I do enjoy it. And in this film, it's frankly, and surprisingly enough, the music for like the metaphysical segments of the film was done by Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross of Nine Inch Nails. That's quite surprising, knowing the type of music that they make, and that they were able to do music here, and it was really great. I liked that music. And then for like the jazz songs for like the New York-based segments of the film, it was done by John Batiste, and very, very good music. I enjoyed it. It really, really did set the tone, and especially when it's either down or either it's up. When it comes to the scenes, the action, the pace of it. The music really goes with it very, very well. And what I like about it is it's just basically it talks about, because these before they're able to go, the unborn, they have to they have these passes, and they're all up to like one little spot, and they have to fill that spot up with that spark. They got to find what is their spark. They'll find that it fills up the whole pass, and they're able to go. And there was a little bit of a, because 22 was someone who was a little bit hard to handle, right? Very, very just opinionated. Did not want to listen to them. He gave Mother Teresa and Muhammad Ali, their spirits, a hard time, you know. And I love that when he showed their individual people that she had to deal with, and it's just hilarious though. The segments between all the greats, some great like characters from history, that tried to mentor her, and and she wouldn't give him a time of day. But then something kind of switched, kind of been like, it was like, kind of switch was like flipped, and it's like she was like, okay, she decides to make a deal with them, like she doesn't want to go to the nurse. She goes, you want to go? Okay, as soon as I find my spark, I'll just give it to you and you can go. You could have it. And she tends to forget that because once they fall to earth and they inadvertently go into the other person's body instead of him going into his body, she starts seeing how the earth is, and she's thinking to herself, I want to stay here. I want to stay here, and I want to, I want to stay here, and I want to find my spark here. I want to, but then when Joe was ready to go, because Moonwind was a spiritual sign twirler. Like he's over there in the great beyond, but on Earth he's throwing one of those signs around. He's ready to, to send them away to pretty much put Joe back into his body and be able to get that going. But 22 doesn't want to do that, and so he runs. She runs away, and then he's trying to catch up to her, and then Terry, who is a guy who he keeps track of all the souls, and he notices one is missing, and that's Joe. And so this Terry goes to Earth, and it's funny because he was used like an abacus, old school, counting the and when he goes there, he's trying to he captures this one poor dude named Phil, and pretty much, oops, wrong one, because he has this little portal that he opens, and he falls in, takes his soul, but then he goes, oh, wrong one, puts his soul back in, zooms him back up to Earth, and he's shaking and scared, and he goes, hey, just like, it was a mistake, don't let anybody ever hear that this happened, and you know what, lay off the processed food, or you're gonna end up with me, in the great beyond. But poor dude, he was really shaken. Now, the thing about his mom didn't really appreciate his choice in what he wanted to do, because she wants him to have security, she wants him to have job security and benefits and all that stuff. But then being a musician is kind of shaky. I mean, she saw that with her husband, his father, who was a musician, and she saw what happened with him. She basically was the one that was paying the bills while he was a struggling musician. She doesn't want that, and it's understandable. It's understandable that a mother would, wait. But then, when she realized he was serious, and pretty much gave him her speech from the heart, it was actually 22 speaking, but it was Joe in the cat's body feeding him the lines, and she's convinced. She decides to give him an old suit from her father, a real slick purple suit, real nice, but she had to tailor it, and she had to make it so that it could fit her son. He goes and plays with Dorothea Williams. He blows the house away. He brings the house down, if you will. Mother's there with her friends, and they're loving it. And she does see that, and he sees that. And then when he's done, he's like, is this it? I thought it would be better than this. I thought I would have a bigger, feeling of like, wow, But he decides that, like, he goes back right to the great beyond, there with the Jerry's and all that. All of them, they're all counselors. They're all named Jerry. It's weird, you know. Except the one guy was Terry. Like, well, that's different. He goes there, and then he realizes that he wants to give back his pass to 22. 22 goes, you don't realize that if you give this to me, you can't go back. And he's like, well, you know what? I've already done it. You know, he's already fulfilled his dream. And he was just like, you know what? I don't mind. And he was really willing to just stay there and be a counselor, I guess, you know, for the rest of his time until he was ready to, you know, whatever. But then once 22 he decides to go, he gets the pass and everything. He goes down, and Joe's like, okay, I'll escort you down, but he can only go a certain time. He can't certain amount of time of you know, space between him and Earth, and then he has to bounce back. He can't go all the way. But he said, I'll go with you until I get to that point, and then, you know, he's there, and then she goes and she finally enters Earth, and then well, you know, he prepares for the great beyond. But then Joe is stopped by Jerry, who thanks him for inspiring them and offers him another chance at life. Joe accepts and returns to his body on Earth, and now he's ready to live and appreciate every moment of his life. He really found the true meaning of life, and it took a rather rambunctious, rather stubborn at times, unborn soul, 22, to kind of open his eyes to it. He was really a great person, willing to sacrifice his ability to go back to Earth and give that thing to his give the pass to 22. And 22 did go, and he's going to, you know, do what happens to him, you know, what her, I should say. And like I said, in the end, you know, I thoroughly enjoyed this. Another faithful another recommendation from a faithful supervisor subscriber of mine, a faithful subscriber of mine. Thank you, Dika. Thank you for this recommendation. You're batting 1,000, my friend. I love these recommendations you're giving me. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Great work all around. The voice over, the talent was great. The animation, Pixar, Disney together, yeah, they can't go wrong. I love the music, and the story really is a story that we should see a lot more in movies, you know. And I think that Disney and Pixar, they do have a way of kind of keeping in line and in tune with what, you know, is going on. And, you know, especially Pixar, a lot of their like the Toy Stories, there's always like some incredible message, you know. And to all that and others, and a lot of the Disney animations that have that too, where it's like it's not just an animated film, there's something there to kind of teach you a lesson, to open your eyes to thinking different ways, and a lot of great character developments in the series. This one is first time, very surprising, you know. It's the first time, you know, that the character is you know, the main character in a Pixar animation is African American, which is very, very good, you know, thing to do, especially with the climate that's happening right now. It's like, it's pretty tough, you know, and they really just want their moment to shine, you know, the African Americans. They really want to have them represented in film and all that, and I can understand that. And you have a strong character like Joe Gardner, it's really, really a good thing. And you should always have strong characters representing their community, or representing their background, their ethnic race and everything. They should be, I mean, all of us who have our racial background, racial makeup, we should always want to have someone in movies, cartoons, music to represent us. So this is really a great step for their community, and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I was recommended to see this. Amazing, truly amazing. Like I said, well animated, great story, great voice acting, music. It's really, really just an amazing film. But anyway, that's my thoughts on my recap and thoughts on Soul, a Disney Pixar film, animated film. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by, checked it out, appreciate it. And in closing, as always, take care.